What's up, guys? So today we're looking at an old BattleBox knife. This is the Bastion Gear Baron. All right, this is a very cool looking knife. When I first got it in a BattleBox, I used it a little bit. We kind of set it away, used it again on and off, and most recently started using it more so I could do a review on it. So this came in the Bastion box. All right, so I have a little, presentation box with some foam. Set that off to the side. It's actually a pretty decent little user. What's interesting is that this has a Sanmai Damascus blade, and what that means is that it is a layered or sandwich steel. So if I come in close on this, you can see the darker stripe in the middle. That's actually a different piece of steel. So the idea behind Sanmai or sandwich steel is that you have three pieces of metal. The two on the outside are decorative. They're almost always a Damascus, but sometimes they're not. All right, sometimes it's just a softer steel. And then you have a third piece, which is the core. So you basically have the decorative bread that's softer. Then the core is harder so that it actually retains a much better edge than the original, outside metal. Now, what's kind of interesting is that they didn't specify what that core material is. All right, a lot of times on these Sanmai steels, it'll be Damascus on the outside and like a BG10 core. I don't think I use this knife enough to really specify what steel it is. I mean, that's kind of hard to do. It did hold a great edge. It's much better than something like a 440C, much better than like an AUS 8, but not quite like the S30V range, really have no idea. No idea what the core material is. It just held an okay edge. It stropped there very easily. I never actually had to sharpen it. Mostly did cardboard cutting with this. So, your guess is as good as mine. But it is very cool, though, to have that sandwiched design. Again, the softer steels on the outside add a little bit of flex, but the actual edge is much harder and it stays sharper longer. So pretty much every single time, it's a better steel that's in the middle, if that makes sense. So obviously, as you sharpen this away, the sides are being cut away, and then that middle piece is pushing out. So that's how Sanmai steel works. I think they did a good job with this. I really like the the way it looks. Obviously, I love Damascus. I think the blade shape is really cool too. I really like that the cutout here, which is functional, although there's kind of a heavier detent in here. So to open this, you can see there's no flipper or anything. To open this, you have to push on the cutout, but it's a little sticky in the sense that I have to use a little bit more force than some other knives to get that out. It's good in that it's not going to accidentally fall out, but when you want to open the knife, it takes a little bit of extra pressure. But I really do like that there's like a fuller that's cut from here. It's just a really good design. It's very aesthetically pleasing. I really like the way this blade shape looks. All right, there is some jimping on the back. It's a little bit more of a wider cut, and it's rounded, so it's not like, really gripping the thumb, but it does allow you to have a place to kind of dig in a little bit if you're doing some harder cutting. All right, you can see this does have, genuine carbon fiber scales in the front and genuine brass bolster. All right, what I don't like about this knife is when you flip it over, it's a totally different knife. We have, I believe, a stainless steel frame lock, all right, and it just has a totally different look. What I kind of wish they did was, there's a couple things they could have done which would have made this better looking to me anyway, because the presentation time is fine. This looks nice, right? I would have liked to see probably a full carbon fiber scale on here, because the carbon fiber and the Damascus look great together. If you're going to do brass, that's fine. Do a full sheet of brass if you're going to do a totally separate thing. It's just like I said, the combination of the brass with the carbon fiber and then have something totally different on the back, just say kind of, I don't know, a little bit of a sheen to this, black, I don't know. It looks like two different knives, This is the Harvey Dent of frame locks. But even on the back, like you could have probably, the brass would have been hard because obviously you can't do a bolster, or at least the bolster would be covering this and it would technically be a liner lock, it'd be something different. But you could have probably put a carbon fiber scale on the back part, because obviously you can see it's still metal or still stainless on, that top scale. So we have a stainless frame lock basically, and then on top of it we have the brass bolster piece and the carbon fiber scale. There is a decorative hardware here for the pivot screw. All right, so that's kind of nice. Again, this is a presentation piece, the whole thing. And by the way, obviously I mentioned this is a BattleBox knife, but this is a BattleBox exclusive. I never saw this on Bastion's website, so the only place you could buy this is from BattleBox. However, I did see one pop up on Amazon. That's probably a private seller. Obviously, Amazon's not selling it. The original price for this, which you can still get them from BattleBox, is $120. but the one I saw on Amazon was less. I want to say it was like 90 or 95, something like that. I have no idea if that's still available or not. Obviously, if you're interested, you might want to check that first. But yeah, I mean, as far as its functionality, it locks up great. There's no blade play in any direction. I did use this pretty hard in some cardboard. My only issue, obviously, like I mentioned before, is that it's a little bit harder to get that out. All right, once you overcome that, it's not that big of a deal. Pretty stiff pocket clip. I believe this is a stainless steel, but it's really stiff, you know, like cold steel, you know, territory stiff. So I did notice that when putting it in the pocket, I had to kind of use the fingernail to, you know, lift it up a little bit as I'm pushing in. Had a little bit more force to get that into the, you know, pocket. But I mean, other than that, it's a very good looking knife. It's just, for some people like me, you're going to go, oh, it's beautiful. That's cool. That's different. Oh, no, it's too different. Too different for me. I just would have liked to see a little bit of this brought over to the other side, that's all. And there's nothing wrong with if it was just stainless, if they didn't do any of this stuff. I mean, this is very decorative and looks nice, but I would have preferred, I don't know, it's just something, it's a personal preference. I would have preferred this look overall. It's either like this knife or it's this knife, you know? But it is what it is. It is nice and smooth though. This is running on a ceramic ball bearing pivot system. All right, so once you do overcome that lock, it's very smooth to open and shut. As far as some specs here, 4 inches closed, all right, 7 7/8 inches open, and the blade is just under 4 inches. All right, I don't think they mentioned on the site. I measured that myself, but it was like 3.9, something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting knife. It's definitely a limited knife, so if you're a knife collector, this would definitely appeal to you. Not a lot of people are going to have these. Basically, just the, you know, Pro Plus BattleBox subscribers and anyone who happened to just buy one. But there is a limited number. I don't know exactly how many of these are made. But, you know, 5-10 years from now, not a lot of people are going to have these things, and the prices are definitely going to go up if you want to get one. But anyway, that's all. Just want to finally do a video on that. I did mention, you know, that I would use it. I have a long list of knives that I've been using. You know, it's hard for me because I'll get a knife, you know, whether it's in trade or in a battle box or wherever, and I'll use it a little bit right away because I'm curious. I, you know, start using it, and then I kind of put it away. I set it aside, and then other things pop up. Then I get more knives in trade, and they kind of, some of these knives, obviously, as you guys know, you get teased by it because I'll say, hey, you know, we do a video on this, and that's why I try not to say that so much anymore. But they get kind of put to the side, and then other things come up, and then when those projects are done, I kind of revisit them. This is one of those that I knew I wanted to eventually do a video on, and I just had time to revisit it. So anyway, that's all. If you guys happen to get this in a battle box, let me know what you thought of yours. Do you still carry it? Do you EDC it? It is definitely a usable knife, for sure. Nice point on it, you know, nice simple traditional, you know, drop point here. You know, but it's, for me, it seems like more of a decorative piece and more of a collector's piece than a user for a lot of people out there. But if you did want to use it, it is totally usable. It's much better than a lot of the, you know, cheaper knives. For the price, for $120, you know, I think it's worth it because of the materials, but it just would have to appeal to you visually. To me, it just fell a little bit short because it's inconsistent. It is, to me, two different knives. But anyway, that's it for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow with, you guessed it, another video. Brand new. What's it going to be? Who knows? I never know when I'm going to post. So I guess we'll all have to wait and see. Have a good day, guys. Take care.